Wine often wonder when exactly things have started going wrong. Was it after the wedding or was it the moment she fell in love with a man who only loved her before he owned her? She sat alone in the quiet bedroom, knees pulled to her chest, staring at the framed wedding photo on the bedside table. Joe stood beside her in the picture, expressions calm, eyes distant. She remembered how she had ignored that distance back then. He is just nervous, she had told herself. But now she knew better. Her fingers brushed the frame gently, and suddenly her mind drifted back. Before the marriage, Jungkook had been different, warm, and attentive, alive. He used to wait for her outside her office every evening, leaning against his bike with his helmet hanging from one arm. You are late, he would stay. He would say, pretending to be annoyed. Van would smile, you will love waiting for me. He would smirk, maybe, and that. And then he would hand her a chocolate or coffee, remembering exactly what she liked. He used to listen, really listen, when she talked about her dreams, her fears, her insecurities. He never brushed her off. One evening, as they sat on his bike near the river while resting her head against his back, she whispered, do you think nice change people? Jungkook chuckled softly. Only weak people change. I won't. She believed him. She always did. When he proposed, it was no dramatic, no crowd, no fancy setup. Just Jungkook standing in front of her eyes sincere. Marry me, he said simply. I don't promise perfection, but I promise you love me. One's eyes filled with tears. Yes, he whispered, I trust you. After the wedding, the first week was quite no bad, just unfamiliar. Um, Jung was busy with work but still came home every night, still asked her if she had eaten, still shared the bed. Even if there was a distance between their bodies. One didn't complain, she was adjusting. She thought he was too, but then the second week he stopped waiting for her, stopped texting first, stopped asking questions. She would talk and he would nod. She would laugh and he wouldn't react. One night she asked softly, Jungkook, did I do something wrong? He didn't look at her. No. Then why do you feel so fired? He soon turned sharp. You are imagining things, and slowly the warmth disappeared. Joe stopped coming home on time. When he did, he smelled unfamiliar, different perfume, different air. He stopped sleeping beside her. Voice at us, he said. She believed him again. One evening, she waited for him with dinner ready, candles lit, trying to bring back something she felt slipping away. He came home late, looked at the table, and frowned. I already ate. Mine forced a smile. Oh, okay, I will just pack it then. He walked past her without another word. That night, she cried silently. She remembered it clearly. She had asked him shyly, can we go somewhere together this weekend? He didn't even look up from his phone. I'm busy with work. She asked, no, that hurt, but we have not spent time together in weeks. He sighed in frustration. Why are you so needy? Needy? The word echoed in her head for days. No, one blinked. Snapping back to the present, her chest felt tight. She hugged herself as if trying to feel the emptiness Jungkook had left behind. She whispered to the empty room, I didn't say, so why did you? Downstairs, she heard the distant sound of a bike engine passing by. Her heart clenched instinctively. He loved that bike. He used to say, I will only let you sit behind me. She didn't know that someday someone else would take that place. While lay down on the bed staring at the ceiling, a quiet realization settled in her heart. The man who loved me died the day he married me, and the man she lived with now didn't love her at all. That night was cool. Jago leaned against his bike outside the cafe, helmet in his hand, scrolling through his phone impatiently. A message popped up. Hannah, I'm coming, don't leave. A small smile tugged at his lips when he had not worn at home in a long time. Moments later, Hannah walked out of the cafe, her laughter ringing softly as she waved at him. Sorry, she said, slightly breathless. I made you wait. Joe shook his head. I don't mind, no for you. Hannah smiled, a little shy, a little pleased. She stepped closer to the bike. So, where are we going? Anywhere, Joe replied, putting on his helmet. Just wanted to ride. She hesitated for a second. Is not a late, your wife? He cut her off instantly. Don't. The firmness in his voice surprised even him. Hannah studied his face. Okay, she climbed onto the bike, something behind him. Her hands hovered awkwardly in the air for a moment. Hold on, Joe said. She wrapped her arms around his waist. The engine roared to life. The engine roared to life as the bike sped down the empty road, the city lights blurring around them. Hannah leaned closer, her chin resting lightly against his back. You're really good at this, she said, riding like this. It feels free. Jungkook exhales slowly. It is, especially when I'm not at home. He didn't say out loud. They stopped near the river. The water reflected the lights like shattered glass. Hannah hopped off the bike, pulling off her helmet, her hair falling messily around her face. This place is beautiful, she said. Jungkook watched her for a second too long. He murmured, it is. They sat on the edge of the pavement, shoulders brushing. For a moment they were in silence. Then Hannah spoke softly. Can I ask you something? Jungkook nodded. Why did you marry her? The question hung between them. He didn't answer immediately. She was not my choice, he finally said. It just happened. Hannah frowned slightly. But you are married now, doesn't that mean something? Jungkook laughed, a humorless sound. It means paperwork. Hannah turned toward him fully. What about feelings? He sat tight. I don't feel anything for her. The words left his mouth too easily. Hannah swallowed. Then why stay? Because leaving would be complicated. He didn't realize how cruel that sounded, or maybe he did and didn't care. Hannah hugged her knee, staring at the river. She said slowly, maybe you could try spending time with your wife. She might just feel lonely. Jungkook's expressions hardened instantly. I don't care about her. Hannah looked at him sharply. You really mean that? Yes, he replied without hesitation. I like you. Being with you feels like no expectations, no pressure. He turned toward her, eyes intense. With her, I feel trapped. Hannah's heart skipped, but I don't want to be the reason. You are not important. She was never important enough for that. That sentence sealed everything. Later, as they rode back, Hannah held him tighter. She teased softly, you should have taken her instead of me. I feel kind of guilty. Tongue scoffed, I don't waste fuel on burdens. The exact words, he didn't know those words would destroy someone else miles away. While still near the window staring down at the empty driveway, her phone buzzed. No message. She checked the time, 10:12 p.m. Her heart felt heavy for a reason she couldn't explain. When the sound of a bike engine finally echoed, she rushed to the balcony instinctively. And froze. Sung was not alone. She watched as he parked the bike as Hannah laughed. As Joe smiled, really smiled, while helping her remove her helmet. That smile felt like betrayal carved into her chest. Once her trembled, she didn't cry, she didn't scream, she just whispered to herself, so this is why. Downstairs, Joe entered with Hannah beside him. This is my house, he said casually. Mine, not ours. Once too near the staircase, her face calm but pale. This is Hannah, Joe said flatly. Hannah offered a polite smile. Hi. Once I never left Jungle, you took her on your bike? Ryan asked quietly. So, he replied. You promised me. Promises change. Her voice shook. Why her? I'm your wife. That's when he said it, the word that would change everything because I don't waste fuel on burdens. Something inside Van cracked, but she didn't let it show. She simply nodded and walked away. That night Joe slept peacefully. Van didn't sleep at all. She stared at the ceiling, replaying every memory, every smile, every promise, every lie. And for the first time, a dangerous thought entered her mind. What if loving him is the biggest mistake of my life? One stopped speaking, not dramatically, no. Suddenly, she simply disappeared from Jungkook's life while still living in the same house. The first day of being not. Morning came. Jung walked into the kitchen expecting the usual quiet, but this time it felt different. One was there making coffee. She didn't look at him, didn't greet him, didn't flinch when he walked past her. He paused slightly. Where's breakfast? He asked casually. One poured coffee into her mug and replied without turning around. I didn't make any. Jung frowned. Why? She finally looked at him. Her eyes were calm, empty. You didn't ask me to. Something about that tone unsettled him. She walked past him, taking her mug, brushing his shoulder without reacting, as if he didn't exist. Days passed. One stopped waiting for him, stopped asking where he went, stopped questioning who he was with. She left early, returned locked the guest room door at night. Jung noticed small things first. No food package, no food packed for him, no message reminding him to eat, no lights left on for him. The house felt cold. He told himself he liked it that way, but something inside him itched. Hannah noticed too. Why do you look distracted? Hannah asked one evening as they sat together. Jungkook rubbed his jaw. Nothing. You sure? She teased. You keep checking your phone. He had not even realized he was doing that. He had not texted him in One had not texted him in days, not even once. She finally stopped caring. Hannah said lightly, is not that what you wanted? Joe didn't answer because for the first time he was not sure. When Nigel came home irritated, Van was sitting on the couch reading. He stood in front of her. "You are ignoring me?" She turned a page calmly. "I didn't know I was required to talk." "Don't act smart," he snapped. "What's your problem?" She closed the book slowly and looked up. "My problem?" She repeated softly. "You already told me what I want, what I am." Remembered. He clenched his jaw. "I didn't mean it like that." A humorless smile appeared on her lips. "But you said it like that." Silence fell. "You brought her into this house," Van continued. "You humiliated me, and now you are angry because I stopped reacting." You raised his voice. "You are my wife." She stood up. "And you don't treat me like one." The fight happened 3 nights later. Hannah had left earlier that evening and was restless. Van was packing a small bag in the guest room. He stood at the door, watching her fold clothes. "What are you doing? Packing for what?" She didn't look at him, leaving. He asked violently. "Don't joke." She finally faced him. Her eyes were tired. "I'm not joking. You're overreacting," he said sharply. "This is my house." She nodded. "That's why I'm leaving." Jungkook stepped closer. "You think you can just walk away?" She laughed quietly. "You already walk away first." Wine took a deep breath. "I tried, Jungkook. I really did." She met his eyes. "But if you don't like me, if I feel like a burden just existing beside you, then I don't want to stay with you." His anger faltered. "I never said I hate you." "You didn't have to," she whispered. "Your actions screamed it." She picked up her bag. Love shouldn't beg to be chosen. Still grabbed her wrist instinctively. "Stop!" She looked down at his hand, then back at his face. "Let go." Something in her voice scared him. Slowly he released her. She left. One walked out of the house without looking back. No dramatic goodbye, no tears. Just quiet footsteps disappearing into the night. The door closed, and the sound echoed loud and final. The house was unbearable after that. You walked into empty rooms. Her side of the bed untouched. No presents, no warmth. He checked his phone. No messages. Days passed and weeks. "Had I noticed the change? You miss her?" she said one night. Jungkook snapped. "Stop." But he did. He missed the way Wine waited, the way she cared without conditions, the way she loved quietly. He remembered her question, "Why her and your wife?" And his answer crushed him now. "Because I don't waste fuel on burdens." The word tasted like poison. One evening, Joe stood alone in the grass staring at his bike, the same bike, the one he never took her on. For the first time, his chest burned. "I destroyed her," he whispered, "but regret doesn't bring people back, and love doesn't survive neglect." One was gone, and Joe was finally alone with the consequences of his own cruelty. The end. Guys, do like, comment, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel for more videos. Tata, bye bye.